Last time on Long Distance Dungeons and Dragons Dinner Theater, in Kelnar, Jacques made friends with a strange winged bull with a man's head, and with his head made up the new mountain, and went alone at the temple before running into the Minotaur and being led to the great crystal room, sneaking around a giant unconscious half-elf and a teen ogre meditating before touching the great crystal and leaving a bloody handprint behind, blurting out the details of his magic wish to anyone willing to listen. Arlox Pachimin fled through the Grimlock Valley into the tent city of Manitos, where he joined the Hag Slayers and pledged to help them kill witches. Determined to do so, he headed towards Foe, and hopefully thereby Foci, where he remembered Circe had intended to go, but found little help in the city of Foe, even though he did make a few new friends he couldn't quite communicate with. With aid from Alec, Juwan, and the Coven, Circe managed to find a quick and easy way from Covenston into Foci, and like Alec and Juwan, she too signed up to apprentice under a master wizard, and began learning new spells there, and during Coven rituals in Covenston during the next 6 months. And now, Long Distance Dungeons and Dragons Dinner Theater continues. And then you go back to your wizard school, doing double duty. No, I said duty.
I'm suturing myself every week. I had nothing else to suture.
You're recovering. You get to learn and create greater undead. So you create more powerful and intelligent sorts of undead, including shadows, wraiths, specters, and devourers. At 15th level or lower, the only thing you can get is shadow. So right now all you can do is conjure a shadow. It takes an hour to do, though, so you can't do it instant, You have to have a clay pot filled with grave dirt and an onyx gem, or so 700. You have to have 750 worth of onyx inside of this jar, and some graveyard dirt. So you have to purchase that at the wizard store here in town. Next month, he has you digging up grave dirt at the graveyard here in town, small graveyard, and saving it in pots for him. At the end of that month, he gives you your own pot. You have to pay for the onyx, and you can cast shadow.
Right.
And then you spend your last 3 months of school. You learn the spell Clone.
I like Pizza Steve.
Alright, I like Pizza Steve is the now word. If you say I like Pizza Steve, you have 1,000 gold worth of supplies from, the wizard supply store here in town. He gives you like a list of ingredients and how much it costs. And about 500 gold worth of equipment which you can buy once and keep. So you only have to buy the equipment once. All the test tubes and stuff you need.
I've already got a portable alchemy.
Alright, so I'll say that with that you only have to buy 250 gold worth of supplies to supplement it to have all the things you need. After you spend 1,250 gold, you have everything you need to make a clone. As long as you say, I like Pizza Steve, and are willing to spend 10 minutes to make an inert duplicate of any creature that has been slain. Its soul will immediately transfer to the clone, creating a replacement as long as that soul is free and willing to return, as long as it has no other allegiances, no other reason to not return to a body. Their original physical remains cannot be restored after you put them in a clone, create the natural lifespan of that, but you must have a piece of their flesh. Not hair, nails, scales, or the like, but actual 1 cubic inch of their original flesh from the original creature's living body. Clone them. It doesn't have to be fresh, as long as it's not rotting. And it must be grown in this kit of yours for 2d4 months.
Oh, so I can make a new body for someone who dies.
Yep, and their soul will enter it immediately as soon as it's done, even if the creature's already dead. It'll be physically identical to the original and possess the same personality and memories as the original. Basically, if it's just the original character was raised from the dead. It does gain 2 negative levels as if it had been energy drained whenever you restore it, so it is 2 levels lower with the clone. If it's a level 1 creature that you restore, it just takes 2 points of constitution drain instead. If its con is 0 or less, it can't be cloned. It duplicates only the original body and mind, not the equipment. It can be grown while the original still lives, or while the original soul is unavailable, but the body will be just merely a soulless, inert flesh, which rots if not preserved until that person dies. But you can pre-grow somebody if you collect, a cubic inch of their flesh, as long as you keep it fresh.
I'm gonna start growing a new me, I guess, and
as long as you cast Gentle Repose on it once a week, you'll have a new self in the pot, ready to go as soon as you die. Be the closest place for your soul to go, so it's where your soul will immediately go to as long as it's nearby you.
That soul shard.
And that's all 4 of your spells, right? So you graduate a month after Alec and Juwan, who have both now either joined the Hedge Wizards or Earth and can fill you in on whatever that means for them. But you're a month behind them. They both have. Alec has started trimming the hedges and getting drunk at work and just trimming bushes all day, keeping the illusion up for the tourists. And Juwan has been going to the library a lot, doing a lot of research on Limbo.
Yeah, so, Juwan, what have you been up to? I've been hanging out, Sparkin'. Oop, I said the word.
So you get zapped. What's your AC? Roll it versus Juwan's AC.
What?
That's
Touch
not
AC.
bad. That's not bad. It's only a 12.
Oh yeah, so you don't hit her. But over this period of time, you do get 2 more spells from the Witch Coven. You learn Friendship, F-R upside down E-N-S-H-U-P.
F-R upside down E.
Yep, Friendship.
And that sounds like a charm spell to me.
It is. Will can negate it. So if you say friendship to someone and reach out your hand to them, they will treat you as a trusted ally. They will defend you and not attack you while the word spell persists, which lasts for 10 minutes per whatever level you cast it as. You can use any spell slot you want. If the creature is attacked by the caster or their allies, it will immediately end the effect. It only affects creatures of the humanoid type, so it doesn't work on anything besides humanoids.
What if they do this, Brian? They go in for the handshake
And I go, psych!
As long as you said friendship, it doesn't matter. They'll still think that was just hilarious, that you're just a funny guy. You used the magic word and did the hand signal. You can only do it once a week to someone. Afterwards, after the spell is over, they might realize they were under the power of a spell, but during that period of time, they'll treat you as a trusted ally. You get one more, I believe.
Yep.
You get Glider. G-L-Y-D upside down E-R. Glidar.
Yeah, sounds like a flying spell.
Nailed it. So it lasts for 1 round per however many levels of the spell you cast it. So 1 round if you cast a level 1 spell, 6 rounds if you cast a level 6 spell, etc. A will can negate if you cast it on someone else, but you can always cast it on yourself to any target of this word spell, whoever you say glider to, and then touch with your hand when saying it. Falls at a rate of 20 feet per round as if they were gliding, so it slows you down if you're falling. And for every 5 feet fallen this way, you can move horizontally up to 20 feet, so you can use it to actually glide in a direction off of a high distance. Slow your fall and control the direction you fly in, up to a maximum of 80 feet per round. Regardless of circumstance, you can never gain elevation with this effect. You only can glide downward, never upward, but you can go from a high spot to a lower spot at a slow speed and gain distance. And it ends as immediately as you land on a solid surface. So once a week, you can cause yourself to glide up to a maximum of 80 feet per round for a maximum number of rounds per level you're willing to cast it. Or someone else, if you tap them and say it and then push them off a mountain, you can make them glide for however many rounds you want them to glide.
You're not gonna die.
Yeah. You're a month behind your friends who have started their work in either Earth or the Hedge Wizards.
Yeah,
You'll also be
about that?
you'll also be approached by both. I think even Alec will hang out with you at the bar and explain to you all. He just goes to work every day. He pretends to trim hedges. They give him an illusion cloak. He just maintains the illusion of the tourist town outside of this one to keep normies out of the wizard town, so that non-magic users don't end up in Foci. He's helping maintain an illusion. So Juwan's been doing a lot of research. She's been really busy. Hasn't had a lot of time to hang out. But what she will tell you is probably that she's been spending a lot of time in the library researching chaos, researching limbo.
Yep.
I want to make a gold coin float, and I go, they let me drink.
So yeah, Alec will tell you he gets a drink at work. All he has to do is pretend to trim hedges. They're not even really there. He can just imagine what they look like, and he can create illusionary hedges. So he just basically making art for 6 months.
My job is to go into chaos.
Well, that sounds interesting. Well, I guess I'll look at my little bone chicken and see what he thinks.
Yeah.
If I didn't animate
He has no vocal. Yeah, he's following you around.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has no vocal cords. So he's like flaps his wings, crackle, crackle, crackle.
Alright, well, I'm not getting a lot of input from him. I'll hedge wizard. I'll tend some strawberries.
All right, you accept the Hedge Wizard cloak, which just like Alex's says Lawn Wranglers on the back. So you get a wizard cloak in the School of Illusion. So at will, you can cause ghost sound. And once a day, you can do color spray or silent image. And here inside the dome, while in the city of Foe, you can help maintain the illusion, create illusory shrubs, in any design you want. Any attempt to talk to tourists will be garbled in wizard code, so they won't be able to understand you. You will be able to be taught wizard code, of course, by this point in time. Oh yeah, and you get prestidigitation on command and at will, which is a very minor magical effect. You can clean an item or just do a minor illusion. Joe Bluth magic.
Alright, so wait, how often can I use that?
That you can use at will. Oh, it's level 0, so as long as you're willing to use one of your cantrips for it. So yeah, you help maintain the illusion, you get fake drunk at the fake bar.
Well, then I go back and get real drunk at the real bar.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, after you leave Foci, you go back to, or after you leave Foe, you go back to Foci and go to the witch's bar and drink your witch brew. And get bungled for a while. You can actually pop up your hut here in town too. They have a witch's ghetto here in town where you're allowed to set up your mud huts.
I want to make my zombie chicken, stay outside and peck
Yeah,
around.
you have a zombie chicken in the yard, killing all the bugs in the yard
Yeah, why not?
for Urgathoa.
Yeah.
Well, I want to make a proposition to Cersei at the bar one night while I've been drinking witch's brew. So, I made an agreement with a certain person that would try to throw a wrench in some of the HBI's plans. And is there anything you have any idea of what I can do to do that?
Yeah, actually, well, I have access to the HBI, so I could get in there if you had anything in particular that you wanted. But I do recall that I have these little contracts where people can sign away their souls and they get a wish.
Yeah.
You might not want that. I also did steal a crystal ball from a certain Cleek Norfish that allows you to scry HBI information.
I mean, you all had one on your desk there that was like a communication cube for them. It's
Right.
like your personal computer. You stole his
Right.
Mac, basically.
Right, but I remember I did a sleight of hand. I switched out Cleeks with my hypnotic crystal ball.
Yeah, it's like you have his work computer.
Yeah.
It connects to the HBI and their files. Also, you've had 6 more months to go to the witch stuff, and you've been able to like rejuvenate yourself and go to work and do all this stuff. So you could also get 6 more of those that you could do once a week. The witch word is lumen, and that is the radiance illumination word spell.
Yeah.
And it'll create a light that lasts for 10 minutes. A light like a torch that lasts for 10 minutes per level that you cast it as. Shedding normal light in the word spells area and increasing the light level for an initial 20 feet by 1 step up to normal light.
That'd be good for my bracer.
Yep. And it can last more minutes than that if you cast it at a higher level. So you get arc. So the effect word arc deals 1d4 points of electricity damage per caster level maximum 5d4. So it's a stronger version of that buzzer spell you already learned. And then the next one you learn is Iridir. It's a command. Lasts for 1 round. Will negates it for 1 target once a week. The target must follow one of the 5 simple commands if they fail the will save, based on the best of its ability on its next turn. It fails if they can't do it, but if it's possible, the commands are as follows. Approach, which is move towards the caster area as quickly and directly as possible. Provoking attacks of opportunity is normal. Avoiding obvious hazards such as fires or pits or traps and other creatures, but it would approach you in the most reasonable fashion that it could if you commanded it, and they fail the will save. You can also command drop, which will make them drop it if they're holding, and not pick up anything that round, otherwise it'll act normally. Fall, which will make them fall to the ground and remain prone until the next turn. Flee, it will either move as far away from the caster as quickly in the direction as possible, otherwise function as approach. Or halt, where the target does not move and takes no action for this turn, although it's not considered flat-footed or helpless, it just stops where it's at. By boosting this effect, you can target it, increase level up to 3, so you can cast it as up to level 4 spell to make it stronger. Then there's Rack, which is a pain command word, which for 1 round per level, if they fail a fortitude save, fortitude negates, they'll be sickened for 1 round per level, so -2 on all attack rolls, weapon damage rolls, saving throws, skill checks, and ability checks. You also get Float, which is a float spell, sort of similar to your glide spell. The targeted sword spell can float in the air, rising or falling at a range of 30 feet per round as a move action. Mostly allows for vertical movement, but other forces might allow you to move horizontally as well. You have no control over the movement, but can end the effect prematurely with immediate action. So if you cast it, you'll either go up or down depending on the direction of the wind, but it's a form of minor flight. Last one, Glum. Alright, so for 1 minute per level that you're willing to cast this as, will throw negates. It causes a burst, an emanation from you. The target of the word spell radiates darkness out to a range of 20 feet, negating all natural light sources and all magical light of any level lower than that of the word spell. So the higher level you cast it, the higher level of magic light you can block. Reduces the natural light by 1 step. Has no effects in an area that is already completely dark, but otherwise you're creating darkness. So Austin's on a boat, sailing the South Seas, dangerous dark water. You sail around the South Sea, not bad. It's kind of choppy, but it's not horrible along the eastern Lincoln shore, so you've been traveling about a month now. You've passed most of the cities along eastern Lincoln seaboard. Captain seems to be remaining pretty close to shore, not willing to go too far south, but warns about a lot of the trenches ahead, past Huginston. You see a magma dragon rising from a sea volcano. So yeah, he's got a small crew and you, and he's sort of been sworn up to anchor here, but there's a magma dragon blocking your path from moving any farther towards Nevercrooks, which are off the shore of Huginston.
I'll look at it with my zoom specs. It's gonna be a 15.
You see what looks like a young magma dragon with jet black scales. It seem to be leaking rivulets of hot lava that are dripping into the ocean and turning into rocks beneath you, so it's like dropping hot lava balls as it flies over the ocean. That's why the guy's afraid to pass. He knows that'll damage his ship. There's a lot of like floating stones in the area that would also slow down travel. Its veins are glowing, so it's not hard to spot with your zoom specs or follow. Kind of shines. Its membranes of his wings are like bright red like magma and are glowing like fire. Only a medium-sized dragon though, no larger than you are really. Not huge, but definitely like flying around, blocking the path ahead if you wanted to stay near the shore, which he does seem to want to do.
I paid this captain to take me to Nevercrooks, so if he's not going to take me to Nevercrooks, I'll like my money back.
Alright, roll a diplomacy or intimidate with that.
16, I think.
Yeah, he still seems reluctant. He says, well, if you're such a wise guy, why don't you help me decide which route we should take? Should we fly through the raining hot magma showers of this dragon and sink before we reach Nevercrooks? Or should we sail through the southernmost part of the sea, the deepest trenches, where beasts even greater than that exists?
Well, can't we just like wait for the guy to like move on?
So you want to like wait until this magma dragon stops flying back and forth between this volcano and the shore? You wait 6 months until the dragon hibernates, and it's I assume you fish during that time to eat, so roll me like 6 survival checks to survive for those 6 months on what you eat, what you can catch.
10.
Yeah, you're not doing great the first month, man. You're lucky the captain's a nice guy and shares some of his meals with you, but he says, not next month, man. You gotta learn how to fish. Second month, you're not carrying your weight, man. He can't keep giving you free fish every month.
I'm gonna give him free water so that he can drink.
Alright, you can trade some water for some fish with diplomacy.
Alright, that's an 18.
Yeah, you convince them to trade water for fish. A lot of these guys do get thirsty. And salt water is not that tasty and it makes you sick. You're able to eat for the second month.
That's a 19 on survival.
Last month, you actually get better at fishing, and the guy's kind of like, he finally gets the hang of it. Do you have a planar bank account?
I do.
Yeah, you lose 3 months of 10% plus 10% plus 10% in that account, of course. The magma dragon finally hibernates in the volcano. You guys are able to sail between the volcano and the shore through the most shallow edges of the world's deepest trench. You see a gargantuan shark, a majestic shark with murderous intent. Its mouth is wide enough for a human to stand in, wide enough to swallow you whole. Its body stretches back more than 20 feet. It looks like it is approaching your ship pretty rapidly.
I'm going to inform the captain there's a gigantic shark coming our way.
So, well, you learned how to fish, why don't you catch it?
I think it's going to catch us. You're a pretty shitty captain, man.
And he's like, well, he's doing the best he can. He's trying to evade the shark.
I'm going to call like the Better Business Bureau on your ass. Alright.
And the ship is trying evasive maneuvers, but this is a pretty big shark, and it moves more deftly than the ship is able to.
How many crews on the ship, right?
There are 16 members of the crew with the captain, so 17, 18 plus you, with you included.
Yeah, but the shark's going to be able to sense where we are in the water, right?
I mean, it's the great hunter of the deep.
So the shark is coming.
Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum,
Alright, well, how about this? I'm going to tie a rope to my long spear, and then when the shark gets close, and I'm going to attach the rope to myself.
Oh, this is crazy.
And then throw the spear into the shark like a harpoon.
Okay, I like it.
I'd be into yourself.
Well, that's probably a bad idea. How about that?
Roll me a ranged attack.
Tied to the mast, yeah. I'm tied to the
Anywhere on the boat.
Are you tying it to yourself or the boat?
I'm not sure.
Well,
You have to know. It's D&D.
Way, it's gonna pull you off the boat.
Yeah, I know.
I can't do both universes at once. You have to pick one.
Alright, even is the boat, odd is me. Tying it to me.
Oh, God!
Alright.
I love the way you played that.
Man,
That's the way to do it. Okay.
Yeah, that's D&D.
And then I'm going to throw the spear into the shark.
Alright, roll me versus AC.
Alright, sounds like a party. I'm pretty sure my D8, my attack bonus on the long spear is like an 8 or a 9. So I rolled a 10. So you can tell me.
Yeah, that's a hit. So you're able to sink the spear into the large shark, gargantuan shark,
Alright.
and do however many D of damage you're supposed to do with that.
Woo! 3 damage.
You do 3 damage to this large shark. The long spear barely sticks into the edge of the shark's skin, but it does yank and pull you off of the boat as it goes under it, and then up from underneath it. So you go underwater with it, and then you come back up as it swallows the middle of the boat and half of the crew. It's gobbled up in one bite with this giant shark, and you're like riding it like a rodeo steer, barely holding on to your rope, being flung around, drug under the water.
Okay.
But the boat's destroyed, half the crew is eaten. The captain's going down with the ship.
Alright, I'm gonna have my shadow self eject out of my body and then go to try to possess the shark.
Alright, so I get a will save, right?
Well, I'm gonna cast Eagle Splendor on myself, so that gives me a +4.
Alright, so your body's being lifelessly flung around by this shark as it's trying to eat more and more of the crew.
Yeah, and I'm
My
also
will
gonna,
save was 15.
so that's not enough.
So yeah, so you were able to take control of the shark.
Sweet, and I'm gonna take this shark to Nevercrooks.
Alright, you're gonna drag your lifeless body all the way to
body's
Never.
attached to him.
Yeah, it's attached by the spear in the back. You drag your body to the Nevercrooks port. which doesn't even act that surprised when your shark like pulls up to shore and your body like floats up to the dock.
I could fuck up some people.
Yeah. You should eat the rest of the crew members.
Yeah.
And the captain.
I mean, you probably did if you want to say you did. You're Urgathoan.
All that gold.
Yeah,
Back
I'm
up.
gonna fucking... Because that captain was a bitch.
Yeah, alright, so you eat the captain and his ship and his crew and his cargo.
Yeah, because he was a bitch.
You chop the boat in half.
And then I'm gonna go through the port of Nevercrooks and chomp holes in the bottom of every boat in the harbor.
So you will be met at the harbor by a legal team claiming
What?
damages to all these ships on their property caused by you. They'll have proof that your shadow spirit was inhabiting the body of the shark when it caused the damage, and you'll be forced to pay restitution. They expect to see you in court on Monday morning.
I mean, it was a shark, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nope. They're claiming they have proof that it was your spirit inhabiting the shark's body in the time of the incident.
Okay, well, they're on the dock.
What are you trying to do? Eat them?
Eat them, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump into the water and swallow them.
Yeah. As you try to do so, your soul is ejected from the shark back into your body. You're slapped with a restraining order from the shadow plane. You're not permitted within 20 feet of the shadow plane. The shark regains control of its body and starts dragging you around through the ocean again. And you're just getting splashed around, getting drunk underwater.
Very well. So I'm like flapping around in the ocean. My shadow form cannot be ejected from my body anymore.
No, not without creating another violation, which would add up to your offenses in court. You've been warned that if using your shadow body, entering the shadow plane.
Still, the court doesn't want you to do it.
Yeah, you can still do it, but you'll be faced with more sanctions if you do.
All right, I'm gonna talk to Chai about this while I'm getting smacked around in the ocean, and pray to Chai and see if this would be personally offensive to her, or if these guys are just a bunch of blowhards.
Shia will say lawyers, right?
Okay, well then, do I know anything about this town? Are they patently evil?
I mean, you've been here before. I mean, I think you know that it's a lawful evil town full of courts and judges, lawyers, bureaucrats, attorneys,
Remember you set your office on fire?
copyright lawyers, yeah,
Those guys are
contracts.
assholes. Okay. Well, I'm going to.
They do seem to have some power over this area. They were able to eject you from the shark before,
Okay.
due to terms of some other contract that must be more powerful than your magic.
I'm gonna eject the shadow out of my body and try to take control of the shark so we can get out of Nevercrooks.
Alright, you'll be faced with more sanctions and not allowed to re-enter Nevercrooks without a permit from the Cranagris Castle, from the government. You'll be informed of that as the shark sort of swims away and escapes justice. You'll be fleeing, and then if you visit any other nation on Westlinien or identified, they're going to try and extradite you back to Nevercrooks to face trial for your crimes.
I guess as a shadow form shark, I can't really communicate very well, huh?
Not any better than a shark can.
I love you. I love you.
I've never heard a shark say "I love you." Yeah.
Yeah, let me like swim around the island and see if I can't find someplace that's closer to Covington that's not Nevercrooks.
I mean, there are other ports there, but like I said, they're all cities that are related to Krennis. You would risk identification traveling through them. There's one east of here, one west of here, that you can probably see with very low perception checks as a shark. If you have access to a map, which I don't think you look at right now in your shark body, they're probably all wet and ruined. You probably ruined all your maps.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't think you had a scroll case or anything, I don't remember. Unless they were maybe your bag of holding, that's possible.
Hold on, let me roll my conscience. I rolled an 8, and that rhymes with great. So I'm gonna go back to try to find Ramses, because I realize it's probably not the best way to go. And I can't abandon him. I don't need to sleep, and I've got, I guess you can kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I'll just keep casting.
I mean, the only thing it'll be is that since your body is not inhabited by a spirit, it's technically dead for this number of months, so it will start to decay. Yeah. So you have a slightly waterlogged, rotten, half-orc old man body.
Then I'll stop decaying and be normal again, right?
Yeah, once you reinhabit the body, it'll become alive again, but it'll still be somewhat damaged from the rottage.
Alright, well, I'm already ugly as hell anyway.
Yeah, you're just going to get sort of rotten now. Alright, but you swim back towards the island of Kelnar. Do you go to the port of Telorx, or do you try to land somewhere else? Are you trying to find a different spot to park the shark?
You can't back it in, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you seem to notice before, it doesn't do well in shallow water, so if you left it there to die, then you were able to animate its dead shark body.
I'm gonna beach it.
Alright, you beach the shark and let it die.
Well,
Where do you beach the shark?
Sacrifice it as
Yeah, you drive it up the shore and be like, this one's for Urgathoa, and you jump the shark up on the shore into the mountains and like land it in the hills. Like, where do you jump the shark at on Kelnar? Where are you landing the shark?
Well, we were coming back from the desert with Ramses.
You roll me a perception check as you approach the island.
That's gonna be a 17.
Yeah, so you peek your head above the water and you sort of see a mountain that wasn't there before, and a tall wall that wasn't there before, and then on top of the mountain is like a giant helmet that kind of resembles partially what the exterior of the temple would have looked like if it was buried. The island's changed a lot since you left. You see that as you approach because it's pretty large.
All right. Well, that's very strange, but I'm gonna beach myself a little ways away, so I'm not apparently obvious.
Yeah, show me on the map where you land. Give me a description of the area.
Because that was the last main city I went to before I went to the...
So you want to go around to the eastern shore?
Yeah.
So you swim around the island past Telorix to the eastern shore and beach the shark near Kafusar.
Yeah. And then sacrifice the shark to Urgathoa
and reanimate your ugly body. Yes, you'll arrive at the town of Kafusar that has a lot of military presence right now. A lot of police guards as you approach, walking up with your rotten, disgusting body. Many of the guards there pull weapons on you.
The town of law of order. I mean, I've gone through my due process of law, and I was found innocent.
Alright, diplomacy me. I agree with you, but this will be a low diplomacy. You did.
Alright, I rolled a natural 19 plus 12. So
Alright, well, they say they agree with you, but just move along. You have no reason to be here in this school town unless you're of school age.
You already took all of our children. What more do you want?
Yeah. It's just a town of kids. There's only like guards and kids here. Their parents send them here from the other nearby towns. So it's just children here. They've asked you to move along and not hang out around the schoolyard, you creep.
Alright.
You're legally not allowed to be in there with the hacking feet.
That's fine. And then I'm gonna walk back towards where I had left Ramses and Rugby.
So you walk towards the desert, so roll me a survival check.
22.
Alright, so yeah, you're able to make it through the desert pretty safely. A little bit of increment weather, sandstorms and such. You approach a great wall, but you're at the corner of this is a very great iron wall. It's sort of rusty at the bottom, but it's polished iron all the way to the top. Sort of tall wall, but I mean you can climb walls because you have bug body, so it's probably not a problem for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Alright, you climb over the wall. As you're coming down the wall with your tremor sense, you sense a very large creature in the area. You've been in this desert before. Easy to assume. Giant sandworm in this territory seems to be hovering near this area of the wall as you're nearby.
I'll go back up to the top of the wall and then look around. Does the wall encircle the temple?
Yeah, at a great distance though. It's a distance away from the mountain.
Alright, with my zoom specs, I want to take a look at this temple. Alright, I rolled a 17, so this would be plus 4 for regular, and then add the bonus, whatever.
That's good enough to see that it looks like a giant helmet with a rock face and glowing red eyes, and the door seems to be the mouth. You would recognize it as you'd entered the door before when you entered the temple in the desert, except it was tilted back and you guys entered like downward into it, that had sunk into the ground, and it didn't look like a mouth and it just looked like a door. But now that it has a face, it looks like a mouth on a face with a helmet. The helmet is the roof.
To figure out what deity represents?
Yeah.
I think it's a 14.
I mean, it's a helmet, so you wouldn't know anything other than maybe it was some sort of god of battle, god of war, for it to be a piece of armor as a temple. Like, it's obviously still a temple, it's still the entrance to this labyrinth you've been in before.
Well, while I'm up there, I'm also going to look for any trace of Ramses and his Caligula. 18 plus whatever bonus was.
Yeah, whatever area where they would have been was close enough to the temple that it would have now been raised up by the mountain. So they either on the mountain or in the temple or fell down the mountain, because the area where that place would have been is now an area where there is mountain.
Okay, that's good to know. And so I can tell that there's a worm down there.
Yeah, giant sandworm.
So does the wall is it perfectly equidistant from the temple, this wall?
Yeah, on all four sides. It's a square wall. 3 days journey from each corner to each corner. Also about 3 days journey from the wall to the mountain, to the edge of the base of the mountain.
How about I use the bracers?
Perception check for Cersei! I got a non-natural 20 on perception.
Yeah, you'll hear whatever Ross is trying to lay down right now. Like I said, this is about the time that you're about to finish your, you're about 1 month away from finishing your necromancy school. So you learned 3 of your 4 spells at this point in time. Been drinking a lot.
I'm not going to make it to Covington. I got waylaid.
Okay.
And sent out. So I'm back trying to find Ramses, and it seems as though things have changed quite a bit back here.
I'd call up Jacques and see what he's all about, because last I heard,
You can tell him that.
Yeah, I know that Jacques got instructions to go inside of the temple from me. I gave him that, the information.
To get to the temple, we'll have to cross the desert and hopefully get eaten by the gigantic sandworm.
I think the thing would be climb the wall until you see the entrance and then bolt from there.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was thinking. If it's a square thing, I'm going to go to exactly the tangent point to the opening. That'll be the shortest distance.
Yeah, to the edge of the mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, is the sandworm smart enough to be patrolling that area? Sorry.
It has tremor sense as well,
Yeah.
actually, most likely.
Yeah, so a stealth check would help you avoid it. It does seem to be centered around this lower corner that you're at, but also a stealth check would help you avoid it.
Aren't you mythic?
I am mythic. Oh, yeah. How about that?
Cersei will be like, hey, be mythic harder.
Yeah.
Do better.
21 stealth check.
21 to stealth across.
You're able to stealth your way to the mountain, reach the base of the mountain, just full of like holes and rusty caverns, and it becomes more like flat and black and cliffy and craggy as it goes up.
Well, I'm going to make 4 perception checks for Ramses and Viva Bogula. Give me another 23.
You don't see them outside the temple.
Alright, use a survival to try to track them. That's not going to... It's a 14, so not good enough.
Yeah, not great, but maybe you assume the entrance to the temple.
Yeah, well, alright.
You've gone through the temple before.
I've gone through it a bunch of times before, so sure, I'll just walk in.
Yeah.
Alright, so you finish climbing the mountain. Roll me a climb check to finish climbing the mountain to get to the entrance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
spider
I've got it.
Yeah.
Oh, you got those legs too. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll roll, but
No, you can make it. It would take a 20. It'll take you a while.
I rolled a 7, which would be in a million, so,
You climb the mountain, you reach the entrance to the temple, which is the mouth of this helmet.
22.
I mean, they seem to be very large footsteps. One seemed to be the trendy medieval sneakers of the teen ogre body.
Alright.
And one is barefoot, but very large.
Because he was carrying
Alright, you enter the temple. It has the same 12 riddles it's always had. How do you open the door in the wind room?
Yeah, blow on it.
It barely opens. You want to roll a reflex save to roll under it really fast?
Roll a 15 plus a reflex, which is pretty decent, if I remember.
I'll say you just barely make it under the door. It pinches off one of your many legs, but you have so many legs you don't even notice you just lost a leg. You have enough legs to just... whatever.
That's a lot of
Break
lives.
the leg, kid.
Yeah. Also, you remember the riddles. Make it to the last room, or the floor drops away, but you can climb walls pretty easily, so you easily make it over to the door.
Yeah.
You'll also bump into the Minotaur.
Yeah, but the Minotaur knows me because I hooked him up.
Do you have a new
He'll
body?
recognize you.
Dude, same.
He'll recognize himself.
Yeah. Well,
That's Rand.
that's Ramses, the traded bodies, but... yeah, I think he was in the Crystal a while ago.
Crystal
He
Room.
points down the hall.
Oh. Alright. Well, do you mind if I go check it out?
Says, yeah, I guess you know the way, huh?
Yeah, sure. Let's go there.
On a survival check or dungeoneering.
Alright, 19.
And you find the Crystal Room. I have to pause you there, but I will give you a perception check to see at least one thing.
17.
You see a bloody red handprint on the Great Crystal in the middle of the room. Cersei, you completed your last month, your first tour of duty of hedge wizarding. You receive an invitation slid under the door of your witch hut, written in wizard's code, as an invitation to wizard battle.
Sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I guess I'll go. I'll check out this the wizard battle. Sounds like fun. I'll call Juan over the bracer.
She'll hear you.
Alright, I'm gonna let her know I got this sweet note written in wizard speak about wizard battle. Fill you guys in about it afterwards. I will head to the town smithy in Foci.
Yeah, you open the door to the smithy, and inside is a much larger space than you imagine would be inside of what looks like a small shop. And it's a very large wizarding arena with stadium seating. Seems to be people down there warming up right now, doing their stretches, casting minor spells. Pretty large arena. There are 3 other wizards in the arena currently. The stands aren't very full. It's like a Monday night, probably one of their slow nights. So you got like 3 low-level wizards. There's a very small crowd, an officiant, the face of the Great Wizard, and then in the dome above this arena, just like you could see it outside in the dome around the town.
Well, I guess I'll watch the first battle if those 3 wizards are gonna battle. Or
Just wizard on wizard battle. There's 3 guys in the ring now, willing to go at each other. Small audience you can join if you like. So you take one of the seats in the stadium.
yep,
Only perception check to watch wizard battle.
13, but I want to know a little more, so I'll surge that. It takes 17.
Yeah. Alright, so your seats aren't great, but you could kind of see the wizards are far away, so it's hard to really see what's going on. And they haven't started battle yet. But you see 3 wizards, they're like they were probably hedge wizards recently, just like you were. Maybe you might even recognize 1 or 2 of them as guys you worked with. You might even know the names of 2 of them if you want to make up 2 dumb magic names.
Radagast and Saruman.
Okay, Radagast and Saruman. You're like, oh, that's Radagast and Saruman. I recognize those guys from hedge wizarding, hanging out at the bar after hedge wizarding days, you know. So you've drank with those guys before. You've never seen a wizard fight, you've only seen them maintain illusions at work, so this will be interesting for you to watch, I assume. So the fight begins, and the 2 of them start ganging up on the one other guy that's in there wizard battling, rapping at each other, wiggling their fingers, shaking their sticks, all the stuff wizards do to make magic happen, throwing stuff out of their pouches. And they manage to entwine this guy. They manage to bind him in such a way that he can't wiggle his fingers, jiggle his stick, whatever he was doing before to try and cast spells against them. You'll notice that one of the 2 guys is waving his arms around like he can't see, like he's been blinded. I said your view from where you are is it's hard to see, but you see that. It seems like one of your friends is blinded, but they have managed to tie up this other guy who's now like rolling around and can't cast spells. One of the guys you know casts fire on the guy that's tied up, who's like now writhing around in pain. And then his friend trips over him, and he casts fire on that guy as well. And the crowd sort of like lightly applauds. And those 2 guys are rolling the ground. They manage to put out the flames. They're not like dead, but they're gonna have some burns, especially the guy that was tied up. Some wizard medics come and take him out of the arena, and that guy is like awarded a minor magical item.
Well, I'll go hop in line to join the next battle, I suppose.
There's only 1 battle a night, so you can come back tomorrow.
Got it. I guess I'll go to the tavern, then I guess I will go to Dazzling Sean's and see if I can hear any word about any work that needs to be done around.
Okay, yeah.
Try to earn some items or earn some gold.
Yeah, it's a knowledge local, I guess, just to hear rumors of work or ways to get gold around here.
Alright, that's 17.
Not a whole lot going on. You do hear that the hedge wizards are always looking for wizards to take on additional tours of duty, so you can always sign up for another 6 months with the hedge wizards and be rewarded with a new magical cloak and another school and enough pay to live in town, basically. I mean, you'd be making money. Actually, you probably made money the past 6 months because you didn't pay rent anywhere or anything.
Right,
you lived in the witch ghetto, which means rent's probably pretty low for you. So roll me a d20.
7.
Yeah, so you're gonna make 700 gold over the past 6 months, considering that you also had other expenses that you paid, like your 10 gold a month rent in the land, and that's already assumed that's taken out of that, whatever you did spend over the past 6 months.
Alright, well, let's see. So if I took on another 6 months, I'd be stuck here, and I don't know what Alec and Juwan are gonna want to do.
The next one you would get would be the one from your school. Now, if you do a 3rd tour of duty, you can just be awarded with another one.
Can I do a knowledge arcana on the necromancy cloak to see what it does?
Yeah.
33.
This one would be a cloak from your school, so it would be a fine black cape, has a red velvet interior, arches in the bottom to make it look kind of like a bat's wing, so you can like hold it out. It's kind of almost winged.
Like a Dracula's cloak?
Yeah, it's like a Dracula's cloak. It's kind of a very high collar, yeah. It's a classic necromancy dark cloak. It's what you would expect, It has cool like embroidered skulls and shit on it. It will allow you to do touch of fatigue at will, and once a day you can either cause fear or use ray of enfeeblement. And it also allows you to do prestidigitation, just like your illusion cloak did. So later on, you can take off your illusion cloak and put on this cloak and do these spells instead when you're off work.
And I'd probably work this out, like, when I went out to the bar, like, be like, I'm representing for the School of Necromancy and the Hedge Wizard dishes. Alright, well, I'll sign up for that, and we'll work our way through that, I guess. But I still want to go back to the smithy the next night, or, multiple nights throughout.
Yeah, I mean, you got 6 months now, so you can go every night for 6 months if you want to. Just be a regular Tuesday. If you want to go to the Tuesday night game, though, after work you show up to the Tuesday night game at Wizarding Arena. You see 11 other wizards in the arena currently.
Sounds brutal. Yeah, well, I might as well hop on in there, give it a shot, see what happens.
So you enter the wizard battle, everyone starts going at it once the bell dings. Everyone's kind of like right away turning to someone. You only see 4 other wizards of these 11. At the start of this fight, do you have to roll initiative with? Furrick can be in the stands watching.
Yeah, I got 7.
13 for the first one, 12, 18, 3 for the last one. So this first wizard, really dressed like very flashy, springs forth at you, and like ribbons come out of her sleeves, and as it does so does a cone-shaped burst of vivid clashing colors. I need you to roll a will save.
Alright. 17.
Oh, barely not enough.
How about I surge that?
Alright, if not, you'd be stunned for 1d4 rounds and blinded, so...
18.
Alright, that's just enough. So you'll either be, instead of blinded and stunned, you'll only be blinded or stunned. So stunned for 1d4 rounds. You're going to be stunned for 5 rounds total. You'll drop everything held, so if you're holding anything, you're not anymore. You can't take any actions for 5 rounds. You take a -2 to your AC for 5 rounds, and you lose any dex bonus you add to your AC for 5 rounds. The second guy is going to try to cast Sleep upon you.
That's a 20, not natural.
You don't fall asleep. You yawn a little bit, but you resist the sleep. This guy's wiggling his fingers at you, and he's rapping some really slow rhyme at you. Alright, you're still good, though. Third wizard starts a freestyle, right? He's laying down mad rhymes. He's a necromantic rapper, too. You might recognize him around the side of town you probably hang out in. It's like a goth kid, like Marilyn Manson looking type. Got his face painted white, wearing a funny hat, wearing like a spiked necklace, and a ray springs from his hand, sprinkly like glitter dust looking ray. You can do a fortitude save.
Natural 1.
He does beat your AC. I roll a 17 versus your AC.
That's a hit.
You're gonna take 6 strength damage. Then it would be your turn, but you can't do anything. It's a really short guy, you know, like a gnome, kind of fun looking gnome kid. Runs up underneath one of the guy's legs and like wiggles his fingers and throws some like dust in the air and says some funny words. You gotta do a fortitude save.
15.
I'm gonna let you negate it. I'm gonna say that works. You can do a spellcraft or knowledge arcana if you want to know what kind of spell he's trying to cast at you.
27 on Arcana.
It seems like he was trying to shrink you. He's trying to reduce your size.
Oh.
You felt yourself getting smaller for a second, and you stretched yourself back out. The one that had the ribbons that came out of his shirt makes itself go invisible. So you see this wizard do a spell and vanish, and he throws out some more ribbons, and the ribbons fall down, and he's gone. There's ribbons on the ground. A little Marilyn Manson. He reaches out for you while you're stunned, holding a ragged piece of cloth. He's trying like an old lady trying to wipe something off your face, you know. But he's like reaching towards you while you're stunned. I need you to do a fortitude save when he wipes you with his napkin.
16.
You're gonna succeed this fortitude save. Plus you're totally necromantic, so this doesn't bother you.
Alright, can I Arcana that or Spellcraft it?
Yeah.
That was a natural 19, so a 35.
Yeah, you recognize the cloth like something looks like a rotted piece of cloth, like those ghoul followers you had to be wearing. Rotting stench of a ghoul on it. He was probably trying to use Ghoul Touch. It's an old witch spell. You've heard about this spell before. It can paralyze someone with a piece of ghoul's cloth. Makes people around sick from the stench afterwards, too. And the next guy casts glitter dust on the guy that just became invisible. Throws some sparkling powder out, and it covers the guy. And it's magically now created these little lights that outline him. And the wizard's like, "Damn it, Gary!" The last guy, the tiny guy, since he was unable to shrink you, now assumes the form of a medium humanoid orc. Now he turned himself from a tiny little gnome into just a medium-sized, like half-orc. Alright, the first guy, now that he's got this glitter dust on him, also casts blur around himself. So even the glitter dust starts to look kind of fuzzy in your view, but you'd bet that the magic attacks and other attacks probably have a higher chance of missing him now. Little Marilyn
Smart.
pulls a bone out of his sleeve and waves it around, waves it from his face, and his face becomes grotesque looking for like just a second. Do a will save, and I'll let these other guys do one also.
28.
Yeah, you're able to resist this, and this doesn't scare you. Or whatever, scary face, big deal, stupid kid. But it does manage to scare 2 of the other guys, which causes them to become frightened. So their backs are turned. At least for one round, they're fleeing the other direction. They might turn around next once they're like, "Oh, this is a dumb kid with a stupid face trick." The guy with all the ribbons pulls like an incense stick out of his sleeve and lights it and waves it around. Shifting colors start coming out of the incense and causing like a really hypnotic pattern. So I need you to do a will save.
24.
So you're fine. And this other guy's fine. The other 2 are fleeing. So they'll fail. But the one guy, Marilyn Manson, is now like fascinated by this twirling color smoke. He's like staring into it, paying attention to that stuff. As 2 other guys return, this first guy's still waving around his hypnotic incense stick. This guy comes back and does an acid arrow at the guy doing the hypnotic pattern, but his acid arrow missed. So you see a little acid arrow come out of his arm and right past the guy's face, misses him. The last guy that now looks like a half-orc kind of buffs himself up a little bit with bull strength and charges in towards the guy like he's about to tackle him, make a physical move in a wizard fight. Alright, you're no longer fascinated. Alright, the first guy that was blurry now creates decoy copies of that blur that's outlined by that fairy fire type stuff. So there's 4 blurs all kind of moving around. Little Marilyn is still fascinated by this hippie smoke that's now just emanating from this incense stick on the ground. Guy shoots an acid arrow again, this time at Little Marilyn. Misses, lands on the ground. Little Marilyn's still staring at this incense stick. Last guy that was trying to tackle the blur succeeds in doing so. So he's tackled one of the blurs to the ground. The other blurs are still bobbling around.
Finally, I get a turn. Cersei is going to drop Mass Suggestion.
I'll say at least half of them are within that range in this arena. It's a pretty big arena. Yeah, I'll do 6 will saves. Fail. 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 Succeed. Fail.
Hey guys, why don't you help me kill all of these other people? Pretty much, I want them to kill until we're the last 2 people in the... Not kill, take them out until we're the last 2 people in the arena.
I get it. So do you want to fight this one guy nearby, or do you want to go hunting down the other 5 wizards that are somewhere in this arena?
I'll worry about the one nearby, and hopefully the other guys will scurry and take out the others. It's up to them. I didn't tell them how to do it. I just said make sure we're the last 2 people in the arena.
Alright, so you guys surround this guy who's like wearing a white robe. He seems to be able to see your invisible friend, no probs. He seems to know your intent. He heard what you said, he knew your spell. He knows you guys are all there to murder him, or to take him out, I guess. So he closes his eyes and seems to be thinking really hard as you guys approach. Walking at a normal speed, it would take you 2 rounds to reach where this guy is. Like this is kind of in that area.
Oh, I don't have to get that close to him if I want to cast a Phantasmal Killer on him.
Nope. So you're about 60 feet away. First guy, the blurry guy, is trying to warn. He says, that he used his turn to pick up what's going on, and he says he's contacting someone. But little Marilyn will pull out a rune and throw it in the area of this guy, the land nearby, and the rune will start making this guy look like he's writhing in pain. The other guy casts black tentacles on him. You're familiar with that. Let's see if it succeeds the grapple. So these black tentacles burrow up in the ground and grab this guy in his white robe. These black tentacles are now twisting him.
Alright, well, I'm going to drop Phantasmal Killer, and so he gets a will save and then a fortitude save.
Oh, will save is only a 7. So,
So
fortitude save is the same.
Alright, so he did.
Guy in a white robe lying dead, and this pile of tentacles still crunching him up. And they vanish back into the ground. Your teammates are all yeah, high-fiving each other.
Let's move on and start taking out the rest systematically.
So as you guys start to do that, you see 3 wizards floating down from the sky, fist outstretched at you guys. They're landing right up in your area. Roll for initiative versus these 3 new wizards.
That's 19.
I got a 21, an 8, and a 12. So one of them will go, then you, then the other 2. So this one comes down at you and lands on the ground, and then shakes his arms really hard and erupts in flame.
All right. Well, I'm gonna cast an ice storm on the 3 guys.
I mean, what area does that cover? Because you're right next to him. So.
Yeah, it's a cylinder, 20-foot radius, 40 feet high.
So like I said, he's pretty much in your square, or right next to your square.
Okay. Well, if I take a step back, that'll do a provoke an attack of opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess an attack of opportunity, that's just going to be a melee attack, though, right? Alright, I can handle that. I'm going to take a step back and then drop my Ice Storm.
Alright, I rolled a natural 20. 9 damage plus 5 fire damage, so 14.
I negate the 5 fire with my Immolation shirt.
Boom. That's what a good wardrobe does for you.
17 damage to those 3 jokers. And they're on difficult terrain.
That seemed to take a lot out of them. Second one picks up some of the snow, though, and says, "Snowball fight!" and casts Ice Storm right back at you. So it's 12 damage to you and your friends. So I'll get smacked on that one. The third guy is going to shout and do a cone. It's only going to hit you and 2 others. Either Fortitude for a partial save or Reflex to negate it.
They're the same, so I'll do a Reflex. That's only going to be an 11.
Alright, so you see the sound waves leaving this guy's mouth, visibly, pushing the air around it. and it's loud and deafening noise comes for you. You try to dodge it, but are not successful. You and 2 of your other guys are now deafened for 7 rounds. You can't hear anything, and you take 20 points of sonic damage. Yeah, 2 of them are now unconscious after being shouted at. Alright, he casts invisibility sphere. He's close enough to you that it makes you invisible as well. So he just re-invisibles himself. The fairy fire stuff is worn off at this point. All 3, everyone on your team is invisible, basically. Next guy slips on some ice and just stumbles and almost touches the guy, but almost gives away his position. He's leaving footprints in the snow and shit, so he's probably just exposed himself.
I guess I'm going to pop a lightning bolt off and try to hit as many people as possible with a 120-foot line.
Okay.
Preferably people that are not on my side, but they're all invisible, so I'm not going to really know that.
You might hit Little Marilyn, but you also will hit these guys. You can tell are like a team.
Alright. They get a reflex save for half, and I guess so does my Patriot.
All of them except the last one of their guys fails.
17 more damage.
Alright, even the one that takes half is going to be unconscious. You might have even killed a couple. You've otherwise incapacitated all of those guys, yours and theirs. You're the only one left standing, and you're invisible for no longer, because the guy that was making you invisible is now dead, so the spell's worn off. There are 3 left somewhere in this arena.
3 left, somewhere in the arena. So perception check to find these motherfuckers. 15.
Alright, 15, that's good enough to hear some noise over what looks like an artificial plateau, like a big block that's kind of in the middle of this thing.
Well, I guess while I'm walking over there, I'll go ahead and hex heal myself. 3. So I get 9 damage back.
You hear like a snorting noise.
Okay. Let's roll another perception check on this snorting noise. That was a natural 19, so at 26.
8 boar.
8 boar.
8 boar coming around the corner of this big block. They all seem to be charging towards you. Very
Alright, well, I got one
pigs.
more level 4 spell to drop, so I might as well drop another Ice Storm right on the very front of these guys, so that it's going to hit them as they come in and have to run through difficult terrain. 15 damage to as many of them boar.
Alright, so yeah, there's 8 of them. That seem to knock them out, and the snow is seeming to slow them down a bit. Yeah, it buys you around.
I guess I will cast Fly on myself and get up out of their reach. Blackish green blood droplets kind of falling down below me.
I like it.
You know?
Blood drop flight.
Just like, random, like oozing down, Well, I'll do a perception check and see if I can see anybody else up there while I'm up in the air. That's a 24.
You see 2 guys on top of this plateau, kind of snickering. It's going to be like twins.
Well, I guess I will fly over there.
You can roll a sense motive if you want also for that.
It's only 10.
Yeah, so not great. You do feel like you do get the sense they were laughing at you. You can roll a knowledge arcana.
That's a 24.
I mean, this is only your second night of wizard battle, but you don't remember there being pigs in the arena last night. And you've seen summon monsters before. Those pigs, there's something about those pigs that wasn't natural. It wasn't right. So you do think these guys probably summoned these boars to attack you.
I'm going to use my Play Patron spell, cast Giant Vermin right next to these guys. And I have the choice of summoning 3 centipedes, 1 scorpion, or 2 spiders. I like the idea of 2 spiders against 2 of them.
Alright, those appear. These guys, scream, ah! And run off in the same direction away from the spiders. But they're trying to chase these guys down and bite them and grab them. One of the guys summons a phantom steed, so like a ghost horse appears, and he jumps up on it to escape these spiders, because they can't, to get a faster foot speed, basically. The other guy farts really loud and creates a stinking cloud to try and nauseate the spiders. They get a fortitude save. 1 succeeds, 1 fails, so one of them gets caught in this rank fog cloud.
Well, I'm going to try to line up so that I can pop off another lightning bolt, 120-foot line, and hit both of these guys, even the guy running away on his feet.
Unless you want to roll a fly check. You can roll a fly check up in the air to move into the right angle to hit both of them if you want.
Yeah.
I'll allow that. So let me a fly check first.
That's a not natural 20.
So that's a good enough fly to move over to that angle.
Alright,
So
and they get a reflex save for half damage.
Alright. That's a 19 and a natural 20. So 24.
So 1 takes half damage. 24 damage to both of them.
Alright, the one on the horse summons a dimension door and rides his horse straight through it.
Okay, well, can I do an Arcana to see if I can trace where the other end opened up? Alright, that's 24.
You know, it's got to be within like 400 feet or so from here.
It's still inside the arena if you didn't want to
Yeah,
forfeit.
still inside
right?
the arena if he doesn't want to forfeit, yeah. So he's nearby you in the arena somewhere.
Alright, well, I'll just get the fighters to focus on the remaining guy, and we'll try to take him down, and then we'll find his little brother.
He's going to black tentacles these spiders. So some black tentacles come up from the ground and try to grab him, so I rolled. That's successful and successful. So both those spiders are now grabbed by these black tentacles. They start taking damage, so that's 8 and 6 damage. 8 damage to one, 6 damage to the other.
Alright, well, I guess I'll have to look over at this guy and say, hot push, hot block.
Alright, so you say hot push at the guy and fire explodes at him. How much damage does that do?
He gets a reflex save for half damage, so you can go and roll that if you want.
I got a 16.
10 damage.
10 damage, alright, so you burn that guy up. He's unconscious.
Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna do another perception check, and, alright, well, I'm gonna fly up 60 feet on my move and do a perception to look around and see if I see anybody. That's a 15.
Alright, so the terrain starts to change appearance somewhat, look like a forest for a moment. You shake your head and blink your eyes, and it looks back like the arena again. Yeah, you see what you think might be this guy, hiding behind some, obstacle, some funny shapes, like there's a giant sphere and a big pyramid shape. You think he's hiding somewhere over there. You think you saw something move over there.
Okay, well, I guess I'll throw a web over there. It's a 20-foot radius spread, so I should be able to hit whatever's over there, hopefully.
Whoever's moving.
Reflex to negate.
Alright, I got a 19. You've got your webbing covering these little shapes and this guy, pretty much.
I want to walk up. I will try to set the web on fire. I'm going to walk up, and I'm going to use my spoken word. I'm going to say Spurk. Instant 1d4 fire damage on top of the burning web, which is another 2d4.
Alright.
6 damage.
6 damage, just enough to knock this guy unconscious. He passes out from the pain.
I'll fly up and try to see what I can see. Perception check. Only a 12.
Yeah, you don't see anything with that. Except you have to do a will save, because as you're flying around, something very frightening comes flying at you. Fearsome creature, something you're possibly remembering from a past life. So.
Yeah, they tried to phantasmal kill the phantasmal killer. Alright, well, I guess I'm going to do an Arcana, or should I spellcraft to find the origin of that spell.
I mean, you'd have to do Detect Magic to find the origin for 2 rounds, I think, or 3 rounds.
I have that. I've got that as an horizon.
So activate it now and then keep it on for 3 rounds.
Yeah, I can do that. So I'll pop on my Detect Magic and do another Perception check, I suppose. That's a 26.
So with that, with your Detecting Magic, you do sense the Phantasmal Killers from the Illusion School. So you're probably looking for an illusionist, someone that can be invisible or make things, you saw the terrain change a while ago for a second. So you're dealing with some sort of illusionist.
Then I guess I will, in that direction, I'll use one of my necromancy spells, Rockabye Baby. It's a 60-foot cone, no saving throw. They become waves of negative energy. They become exhausted.
Okay, so you send out a cone in that direction.
Can he focus on maintaining the invisibility illusion?
He seems to have been able to. You still don't see him.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I thought I just cast see invisibility.
You now see him.
Yeah. All right. Well then.
He's flying up in the air right next, across from you, about 100 yards away.
I'm gonna use my last level 3, and I'm gonna lightning bolt that bitch. Biggest reflex save.
I got a 19.
Nope. 22 damage to that fella.
Well, you knocked him down. He's out for the count. The crowd.
I am the victim.
The Tuesday night crowd goes wild. Slightly larger than the Monday night crowd. The great wizard in the sky congratulates you. Says you're well on your way to becoming a great wizard with a magical object for succeeding in wizard battle. To encourage you to continue your work here. Alright, let's roll. You want to roll percentage chance? You can roll percentage chance for your item if you want. That's kind of fun.
60.
You have now received from the Great Wizard. Drops down from out of his mouth. He spits something out, and from this illusory head in the ceiling falls a tiny ring, which bounces down to the ground in front of you. You would know this is what is known as a ring of wizardry. You've seen a lot of the wizards around town wearing them. Pretty common item here in town. You got a type 2. All of your second level spells. It's got 2 W's on it. 2 Weezer W's.
Yeah.
Stacked on top of each other.
Yep. WW double Weezer ring. Sweet. I think I'm gonna hop back to the wizard hut and recharge all my spells because I'm pretty much out of all my good ones.
You go back to the ghetto and take a nap. Alex Bachimin was in the town of Foe, being talked to by a bunch of gobbledygook guys he can't understand, but they seem to get along with you, okay?
I know I need some kind of fucking magic spell that I don't have. I might hop over to Nevercook and see what's going on over there.
Alright, so you decide to like wave goodbye to your new friends, the gardeners.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah. Let's go out the front door. The guards open the door for you. You're back out in the wild now.
Yeah, I'm gonna just head to, I guess Nevercook's is the next closest city. Yeah, I'm gonna head west over there.
Probably about a day and a half journey there. Lucky for you, it's actually pretty nice. You leave town, the weather's kind of nice. It's kind of just a nice trip. You're around the area with the grove of trees. Well, there's a cult dancing around a fire in like a grove of trees as you approach the town.
They take notice?
They take notice of you, and they seem to be like inviting you into their dance. They're like, oh, come and join us.
I'll dance for a quick minute. Sure.
Alright, roll me a dance check. Which can either be charisma, or if you're trying to do that kind of dance, or maybe reflexes or dexterity. I don't know what kind of dancing you're doing. Describe the type of dance you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll charisma for like sweet like.
I'm dancing like you guys. We're all part of this cool dance.
That was really shitty. That's 10.
Yeah. So you try to do the step that they're doing. You're trying to fit in. You're not a great dancer, man. You're trying to be charming, but it's not working really well.
Alright, I'm gonna try, maybe just do some sweet acrobatics. Acrobatics, sorry.
Yeah, there we go. So you like add some moves and do some flips. Like if I can't dance, we'll show off some tricks.
Ooh, that's gonna be a 21.
Alright, you do a cool flip. Then they seem a little more impressed, like, oh yeah, that's a move there.
I'm gonna bust out a bottle of booze and pass it around.
You can do that. Pass around some booze. Roll me a diplomacy check with passing around some booze.
That's a nat 20 plus 20, so...
Yeah, they enjoy that. It's getting dark out, they're just drinking, dancing around this fire, having a good time. Talking about dark magic and trying to open the gate to hell and all kinds of other, interesting stuff. They start giving you their philosophy.
Get down with that. Are there any shops in town, or...?
I'll be happy to show you around, to give you the full tour.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So they send a couple Cabal members, two like really pretty young Cabal members to show you around town. They're trying to get you to join their Cabal to open Hell's Gate. So obviously trying to recruit you. You seem like a bad guy. You seem like a guy that's suited for their causes. They show you around town. Pretty well organized town on a grid system. A lot of tieflings, sort of like humans. They're sort of half demon, kind of walking around, red skinned, kind of deformed. A lot of them. Lots of fiendish like statues. Lots of people dressed like lawyers, sharply dressed. Lots of orderly dressed people. Lots of people that seem to be doing paperwork and doing deals. A lot of people like doing deals in the street. You just express interest in going to the market, so they'll take you past a lot of things and lead you pretty much directly to the market. They lead you past the arena and the court and the California Inn, and past a bunch of homes and banks and stuff in the bureau. Take you past the tavern. They show that's sure you want to go there later. A place called Bernie's. They take you to the market. They got a smithy.
Is there any place I can pick up, like, magic shit?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of merchants here in this market, trying to cut deals. They have, like, boxes full of stuff and they're trying to sell it, or they have, like, a stall set up, basically. Seems to be, like, a really quick commerce kind of town.
I'll peruse around, see if I can find a scroll of, like, open or something.
Yeah, you go to the scroll guy. This guy's got a booth full of scrolls, all types of scrolls. He's got an open scroll for 200.
I'm gonna roll in the praise and see if that sounds familiar. That's a 19.
Yeah, the scroll market fluctuates. The guy seems pretty firm on his price, whether or not it's worth that, you don't know. It's a pretty low-level spell, but is it worth 200 to you? That's kind of right now, the way you would appraise this scroll is it worth 200 to you?
I'm gonna roll a diplomacy, just be like, hey, buddy, can you come down on the price? 29.
He says, well, we do give discounts to Cabal members.
Yeah, here's 200 gold.
Alright, you give him 200 gold. Get your scroll of door open.
Hi. While I'm here, I want to go check out that arena.
So they have an arena you pass by. It's near the bar. There's be some gambling going on outside. A lot of like dice games and stuff. But there's inside the arena, they're gambling on the fights as well. Seems like the rules vary from fight to fight. There is a pit in the middle, just full of fire. There's like a ring that is not fire, and in the middle is a pit full of fire, and you fight on this ring or in the fire, like a gate around the whole thing, a fence, the razor wire that you're inside of. They drop you down from the ceiling on ropes, and then take the ropes away, and you fight in this fire pit.
But there's a place like not in the fire that you can fight.
Yeah,
there's
a ring. Yeah, like a ring around the fire, about 5 feet wide.
What's the rules for entering? Is it just jump on in?
Now they've got rules posted, instructions on how to sign up, paperwork you have to fill out. It's the whole process. You have to sign an insurance waiver saying if you get hurt, they're not liable. You gotta pay a registration fee.
I forgot this was the horribly bureaucratic. Yeah. No, let's do this. I'm gonna dip back to.
All right. You're like, yeah, it's nice seeing the arena. It's just, you probably just went to one of the fights. Do you want to gamble on the fight that you saw? There's a bunch of the next fight at the arena. There's a bunch of fights every night there. Like anyone that signs up can fight. Fights keep happening as the night goes on. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of like it's like attached to the bars. People are like sitting around here drinking, playing dice games, watching fights when they happen, betting on the fights when they happen. So if you want to stay there for an hour or two and watch a couple fights and gamble on them, you could.
Yeah. I'll bet on it.
Alright, so the first fight, there's like a ranger and a barbarian that get into the pit to fight each other. They seem to be having a land dispute, and they decided to settle it in the arena. So this guy's like, the ranger's like, lobbing off arrows at the guy, and the guy's trying to run around the circle to get at the guy with the arrows, but the guy with the arrows keeps running and just shooting at him. And so it looks kind of funny to you because there's two guys running around in a circle. You want to place your bet on who's going to win?
Yeah, I'm going to bet 20 gold on the ranger. No card.
I don't know. I'm just looking at it.
So the odds are with the ranger. So the rewards aren't very high if the ranger wins, which he does. But so you do double your money. You get 40.
I'll stay for one more fight.
Okay, they drag the poor landowner full of arrows out of the pit. Ask for, the next round. No one signs up for another couple hours, though, so you sit down just there drinking for 2 hours. So spend however much gold you want to spend on drinks in 2 hours, waiting for the next fight.
More gold.
Okay, so you sit there, you get kind of buzzed, see people playing dice and shit, just hanging out. Some people start approaching you, your Cabal friends are still there. More Cabal people show up and sit in the same area as you and being very friendly with you, asking how you've enjoyed your stay in town so far, and do you like the fights, just making general conversation. The next fight begins, though, after you guys hang out for a while. You have this whole group of, people on your side of the arena clapping and chanting as the next fight is about to begin. And there's several people signed up for this fight. It seems to be like a big brawl. There's a gang of 6 and a gang of 5. They're like, we're going to fight each other. They're even going to fight in the fire. They're not going to fight in the ring. They're going to go in the pit and fight. So they all are standing on the edge of the ring about to jump in, and the people around you are cheering and chanting something strange. They're chanting and cheering, and all these guys jump in the pit, and up comes a demon and starts just slapping all of them around and biting their heads off. And 3 of them are trying to run away and get back out of the pit, and the demon steps on one. And they're still taking bets for this fight on which gang is going to win. So you can still pick which gang has the most surviving members at the end of this fight. Red or blue.
You know what? I'm going to bet on the smaller gang.
The gang of 5, the blue gang?
Yeah, I'll do another 20.
At the end of the fight, one blue guy is the only one remaining, and he's weeping, and he's hugging the razor wire fence, cutting himself and weeping, and just trying to escape, and the demon vanishes, and the Cabal sits down and stops chanting when he vanishes. They asked if you were impressed with what they could do.
I'll say that's pretty baller. Was it their chanting that brought the demon?
You asked them that, they will reply yes.
That's quite impressive.
They said, well, we need a living, good-aligned creature that we can capture and sacrifice to truly open a gate of any decent size, and the more good the person, the larger the gate is.
Alright, I guess I'm gonna head back to,
We'd be happy to reward you if you brought us back someone worthwhile. And don't forget to introduce someone worthwhile to us, and tune in together next time for more Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater.